What it is, internet world, we are back. Anime Brothers back at you like we were left. I definitely stole that from Sports Center on Snapchat. Leave in the comments who actually says that. But let's get into it. We got a great topic today. We're gonna start off with all of our intros. Me, I'm Chris Digits. We got Ty Money off to the left side. We got Mr. J Nice, J Quiet Jams, Mr. Jamil. And the never ashy, always classy, Mr. Dashney.
Word.
The lotion, man. He got it.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
All right, Jamil.
All right, y'all ready to confess? It's Sunday. Preach. All right. My confession is every day before work, I tell my wife, I'll see you on draft day.
Wow. Wow. My man's pushing buttons. Pressing his luck.
What can you do, man? It's fun. I'm getting looks now.
All right.
All right. Who's that? Ty, you got it?
Yeah, I got a confession. I still ride a kid's bike, a BMX bike. I haven't grown up to a grown-up mountain bike yet.
Oh, my man, come here.
You got a new BMX bike. This isn't a recent purchase. I mean, this isn't a past purchase. This is a recent purchase of yours, right? Like a more recent.
No, it was like actually last summer, not this summer.
Wow.
That's still new.
Yeah.
How you buying BMX bikes in 2019?
Dang.
Grown ass man.
Is he? Super.
My quick confession. Your boy doesn't know how to whistle.
Ooh.
Not
Yo,
at
I'm
all. Yeah, not at all. I tried and failed miserably. I don't understand the concept of whistling. Nah. You tell me you just gotta.
Right.
Yeah.
You tell me you just gotta go like. Nope, don't work.
All right, my confession is that I am just now at the age of 33 breaking a lot of the things I thought I didn't like, a lot of foods, basically based on what my mama told me when I was younger that I didn't like. So she was like, "Oh, you don't like mushrooms. Mushrooms are nasty." Oh,
She was right about
I would
that,
just
though.
be like, curry is curry. I'd never had curry because we never had curry in the house. Every single time my wife cooks something, she's like, "You're still gonna eat some mushrooms." All of a sudden, I like mushrooms. All of a sudden, I like curry. So I'm just now getting over little things. Like I had the palate of like a 3-year-old, like my son in my hands.
Oh, so you like Ty?
Damn.
That's right.
All
Shots
right.
fired.
I felt
Nah, yo. Mushrooms are nasty, dog. Don't worry. I ain't touching that.
Yo.
I'm fine. I'm fine with those things never touching my palate ever again.
I actually don't
Yo,
eat mushrooms either, so you're fine.
Mushrooms are delicious. That's why this half of the
Mushrooms are
camera group,
delicious.
we're awesome. We got it. You know, we good.
Nah, man.
All right.
Let's do it.
Today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is top 10 anime villains. This is our breakdown or our opinions of who we think the top 10 villains are. So we're going to start from 10 being the least villainous to number 1, who we think is the biggest villain. So at 10, we have Overhaul from My Hero Academy. Why we think Overhaul is number 10? Who wants to lead us off?
I'll talk.
Whoa.
I mean, I'll go first. Why I think
Get it.
overall is a number 10 villain. This dude is like, first of all, he's not that old in terms of like villain. When you think of like this big, you think of like a man or someone who's older in their adult 20s or like late 30s wreaking havoc. But overall, it seems like a in his late teens, like 18, 19. And he was the kid of the famous like underground clan. What was it, the Yakuza, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He was like the grandson of the old head of the Yakuza, and he's just forming. He comes out of nowhere to the League of Villains and is just formulating this plan. It's just like, listen, you guys need some order and some structure. He's like, come with me, join with me, and we'll just go ahead and take over. And his thing is, his power, not only is his power is ridiculous, but the fact that he is building a weapon to take away the quirks of heroes permanently, and that in itself is bad, but what makes it so much worse is how he's getting that ability, which is he's breaking down, because his ability is breaking down and restructuring of items. And the way to get those bullets is that he's using the actual flesh of Eri, who, if I'm not mistaken, what did they say? Eri's his granddaughter, or
no, it's the Yukaza's
boss's granddaughter, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Eri is the Yakuza's boss's granddaughter, and as bad as the Yakuza are, like, even the grandfather was like, no. He's like, he was against it from the beginning, and then Overhaul put him into a coma so he can go and fulfill his wishes. And this is just like, this is a testament to how evil this guy is. You got anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I personally I feel like he would have been higher on the list, but he didn't really use his power. I feel like in the best way possible. Like, he just made new arms. He could have easily extended his arms and touched somebody and just like deconstructed them. I feel like he could have been much greater of a villain than he actually ended up being. And then, so we all know what happens. I'm a little sad that he's not going to be around no more, but, he was cool.
Plus, he also didn't have a huge kill count, which is what makes villains so great, because they have a large kill count, and his wasn't that high. We've seen him take out a few people here and there, but it was just like all for his mission. He just wasn't crazy and evil enough to just go and take out random people. He was just, when they went to go try and join with the League of Villains, when they fought, that's when he killed one person actually, but it wasn't like he was just going out massacring people. So and
he didn't even need to kill that person.
No, he actually did it as retaliation.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
Right?
Yeah. There's one person on the list with a moderate. He doesn't really have a large kill count, but he still needs to be on the list high. We'll know who we get there when we get there. Yeah.
So that's why we have Overhaul at 10. So moving on to our number 9, Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. Now, Frieza's at number 9. Well, if you got to start from the story of Frieza, like controlling planets and universes, using a race, the Saiyans, to do his evil bidding. And then when he's tired of them, just destroys their entire planet, their entire race, just wiping them out. Actually, it was also kind of, he was also scared of them because he heard the whole rumor of the Super Saiyan. So that was also why he did it.
Frieza was a slave master.
Basically.
He was a slave master.
True.
You're right. Oh, man. I didn't even think about it that way. He was.
But even though he used people, everyone, he still, when he decided it was time to fight, he would just no chill. He just kill people, zap them with that laser beam from his finger, like zero chill.
Yeah, so, I liked his like, I'm not gonna like mess around. Like, he was just like instant death. He wasn't like, I'm gonna beat you up and talk for 20 minutes. No, we're ending this right now. I'm not giving you a reason to come back, and like pop, you're done. That was he had probably the best villain murder scene ever, basically. Like, done.
Yeah.
But then
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then like, if taking over planets wasn't enough, this guy finds out about the existence of the Dragon Balls, and he goes to planet Namek, and then what he does to the Namekian race is just completely, it's just horrible. Slaughters the Namekians in order for his quest to obtain the Dragon Balls.
To become immortal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But But he got his, even though he keeps coming back to life. But that's a whole nother story.
That's
I
a super
feel like
story.
I feel like y'all got me on the supervillain part when you just said he was a slave owner. Like, yeah, he destroys planets and everything. Like, so people have a soft spot for Darth Vader. Once you said slave owner, though, I was like, what?
Yeah, Frieza was a slave owner. The Saiyans were basically his race that he controlled. He was treating them like slaves just to do his bidding.
Mm-hmm.
And then he blew them all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he got scared of their potential.
Yep. And then another reason why he's not, because Frieza was also a bit cowardly. Like, during his battle in Namek, he met up with Goku and got his ass whipped, and Goku tried to spare his life. Or before all that, because Frieza knew his ass was getting beat, he's like, oh, I can breathe in space, so what am I going to do? He tries to blow up Namek with Goku along with it. Like, that's his end all be all. We're going to blow up planets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't forget when he came back to Earth with King Cooler, his dad, tried to blow that up.
Okay.
He's like, well, that wasn't going to work either. And then they got their tails handed
up
to him. Yep. Yet again. But you know, I think his failures make him number 9. He couldn't climb any higher than that, even though you probably
His arrogance is his downfall. Like, that's his number one. Like, he even says, like, he always thought he was naturally gifted with power, so he never tried to train it as a whole.
That's
power,
right.
which ultimately led to his downfall.
Yeah,
sure.
This isn't even my final form. He's the dude that was invented for.
Yep.
All right, that's Freezer at 9. At 8, we have Shinobi Sensui from Yu Yu Hakusho show.
Yeah,
One of my favorites. One of my favorites. So Shinobu Sensui, anybody who watches Yu Yu Hakusho, is about the spirit detective follows Yusuke Urameshi. Now, Shinobu Sensui is his predecessor, the spirit detective before Yusuke. And Shinobu was, the thing is, in the beginning, Shinobu was actually, he was naturally gifted with spirit power, which is why I keep forgetting the king. What's the king's name with the pacifier, man?
Koenma.
Koenma, there we go. So, which is why because Shinsui was naturally gifted with high spirit power, Koenma recruited him to be the spirit detective, and he did phenomenally well. He performed phenomenally. He was doing well. He took out demons, and he was one of those guys where, like, his stance was that was just like humans. Like, he had a pure stance, like, which may have been his downfall. Was like everything was an absolute to him. Humans were pure, demons were bad. So he spent his job executing the demons, and then it wasn't until he saw, I forgot what the actual ritual was. It was like the something of a human feast, the feast of something.
Feast of demons or something.
Yeah, it was like I forgot what the actual. If you know what the actual name of it, leave it in the comments below. But the feast, basically, this feast where he saw humans, just doing, it was just this ritual where humans would take demons and just torture them and slaughter them like mercilessly without cause. And this weren't even demons that were like actually like doing bad. It was just for the fact they were demons, they were being mercilessly slaughtered, and that snapped something in Shinsui, and it ended up splitting his personality, and he decided he didn't want to be the spirit detective no more. Yep. And I think what he'd have, like 7 different personalities.
Quick freeze. Yes, but quick freeze. It was Festival of Human Vices.
Yes, the Festival of Human Vices.
Okay.
So basically that, and his splitting up his personality just caused him to go even crazier. But he decided, nope. Humans, after that, humans were a waste. They deserve to be slaughtered. They didn't deserve the world they had. So his mission was to break down the barrier between the human and the spirit world, and have the demons come from hell up to Earth and take it over.
Yeah, it was more like just like a duke it out. Like, if humans could treat demons so badly, then why not just let all the demons and humans fight and see who's going to win? I mean, in his mind, I'm assuming he thought the demons were going to win, but that's kind of how I felt when he is like, his whole personality got split, and he just decided that demons or humans, neither one is greater than the other. So why not just let them duke it up themselves?
That was a good point.
Yeah, I think he gets his spot on the list because he's a traitor. Let's be honest. Like, race traitor. Like, you know, he was there. He was like on our side, but like he was really clear cut, and all of a sudden, like, does a 180 just because some bad apples, like, and he decided to become essentially a bad apple himself. So,
not to mention like the stuff he does to execute his plan. He's so manipulative. Like he intentionally injected other humans with spirit ability in order to execute his plan. We had the kid with the water who could control water. And he ended up the other spirit detective, like the other genius that was like fought Kurama with the genius game. Like he gave people abilities, but he did it in order to push Yusuke's gang, in order to make them more, in order to get them to be more powerful. Yeah. But it was only just so that they could break down the barrier to the demon.
Yeah.
So the demons can get through. Like everything was a plan. It was just like this guy's just methodical. Like his planning of it was just crazy. And it was straight up evil. And then his battle with Yusuke was fire too. But Shinobu Sensui definitely number 8 on that list.
Yes, sir. All right. Our number 7 is Nuraku Basha.
Yeah, from Inuyasha, Naraku, man. How do you start? Like, he starts off as Onigumo, the demon who's like immobile, the human who's immobilized. And like when he dies, even the ground refuses to grow grass. It's like he's that evil. He's like festering evil. He's literally the guy behind every single evil thing that happens to Inuyasha.
Literally, this is not even a joke.
Yeah, literally. Like I don't understand how you plan all this, but he made a way to do it, and it's like makes his incarnations and all this other stuff. Man, he's just like he ain't good. You know, he's got so many plans on plans on plans. His plans got plans, and then his plans also got incarnations with plans. But his body count, actually, you know, he slaughters a lot of villagers, but his body count actually probably isn't as high as some people's on the list.
Not even so much his body count, but the fact that this guy just goes around, like, anytime he tries to get attacked, he just unleashes a poison mist or sends his poison insects after people. Yep. And it's just like, you can barely get close to this dude. And he doesn't care what type of thing is. Not only is he evil, but this dude just loves watching the other people suffer in his wake too. Like he would do things like unnecessarily just to watch people suffer.
No, well, not just to watch them suffer. He wanted the jewel to turn black. Like I love the black luster of the jewel. Oh. And so
he needed the Shikanju to, like, especially what he did with Sango's brother. Got him stuck with a Shikanju, made Sango's with Kohaku, kill his entire village.
Yep.
And was manipulating him through the poison Shikanju.
Yep.
All to inflict more pain. Like he's the reason why Moroku got a cursed wind tunnel. He killed Sango's family. Like he's the reason why Inuyasha and Kikyo even went against each other, and then he ends up ultimately killing Kikyo in the series. Like this guy's just straight evil, like legitimately evil incarnate.
Yeah, there's no other way to really put it. Like even like Shishomaru in that show, like at some point he has like a code. Like he doesn't just go and just murder people for no reason. You know, he has the power to do it, but even he gets manipulated. It's hardcore. It's on another level. Yeah.
All right, so that's Naraku at number 7. Number 6, we have Suzuku Aizen from Bleach. Now, this dude...
They're going to rash you in the comments, man.
This dude is...
Yeah.
Oh, I pronounced it wrong?
Sosuke.
Sosuke?
Sosuke Aizen.
Like Sasuke?
Yeah.
Sosuke? Like Sasuke?
You can tell the manga readers, right? Because they have to make up all the names in their head.
Aizen's really methodical because he put in a 110-year plan just to execute everything that he wanted, and his Zanbaku was almost like a Jinjitsu where he
Zanbaku? Is that what you're saying?
Zanbaku. Yeah. What did I say? I can't pronounce well. We all know that.
That's okay. That's okay.
This is gonna be a running joke for all future episodes.
All right, gotcha.
Facts. But he just hypnotizes everyone, and no one's the wiser to his plans, to his corruption within the Soul Society, and everything that he does to Ichigo and Rukia, and that's why I have him at 6. What does everyone else think about Aizen?
Jermaine, you want to go?
He's a decent pick for 6. He is really methodical. I kind of thought he was a little nerdy, whatever. Like he was supposed to be that guy before he actually reveals himself, who isn't very threatening, but then ends up being like very, very, very threatening. I didn't actually read the last chapter of Bleach, so I didn't know how threatening he was. But like, I saw the TV show up to the chapter where Ichigo had to go up like head to head to him, and I was like, dude, I don't know why Aizen's such a badass now. Like, it don't make no sense. But methodical planning. He's personally not one of my favorite villains, but he definitely belongs on the list of 10.
So I definitely love Aizen with this pick, number 6, because Aizen was just, not only did he have immense spirit pressure, he was genius as well. And the thing about it is, like, when the reveal comes, like, one of it's like the ultimate betrayal to Soul Society, because one, he had everybody believing he was dead to begin with, so he was not even a sus. So when all the chaos was going about in Soul Society, no one was even suspecting Aizen to begin with. And then, like, when the reveal comes and you see he's evil, how in most shows or most anime, you have the bad guys got that menacing glare and the angry tone, the angry face. Not Aizen. Aizen did everything with like the calmest smirk ever, and just like no matter what people were doing, like Aizen was always. It wasn't just the fact that he had that calm demeanor to him while doing all this evil stuff, but he was also always seemed to be 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of everybody else. No matter who was the Soul Society, Ichigo's gang, even the own Iron Car who tried to betray him, like he could see it coming a mile away, and he would just be. It's like he had the entire Soul Society in chaos, almost caused Rukia to get killed. But I mean, that's also due to Soul Society being trash. But that's another topic for another day. But his planning and his power and like the way he just comes through to take over Hueco Mundo like instantly and get the Hollows under his command to still fight for him against the Shinigami, like hands down, Aizen definitely a good spot for number 6. He's evil.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of the manipulative, bring in number 5.
Number 5 is Uchiha Madara.
You got it.
Madara Uchiha coming in with a number 5 spot. Nah, that's definitely a good pick. Madara's a badass. The thing about it is, like, some people will say, Madara wasn't that evil. His ideals were just all, like, even Hashirama's kind of feels, maybe we're working towards the same goal. But nah, Madara definitely straight up evil. This dude tried to get the first Hokage to kill himself in order to stop the war. And he planned to start, like, you can honestly say, like, for anybody who's still watching Naruto, I'm not going to reveal anything or haven't watched it before, but Madara sets things in motion to really get Naruto in this place that he was because of Madara and how manipulative he was. That instigates the Nine-Tailed attacks on the Hidden Leaf Village, which causes the fourth Hokage and Naruto's mother to sacrifice themselves, leaving Naruto orphaned.
So sad.
He just able to manipulate the way he just manipulates Obito to do his bidding, and the fact that like he was smart enough even back then to cultivate some of Hashirama's cells to keep himself going, to continue his life, and had everybody think he was dead. It's just like the planning behind all that and old age to make sure things set in motion, to ensure that he will be revived later on. And when he got revived, oh my goodness, what a beast he was. Everybody got their asses handed to them. But even then, even after he got revived, like he stayed true to who he was, his evil core. Because Obito asks, like, what am I to you? And he says, you are nothing more than a tool for me to achieve my dreams. And I'm just like, wow. Savage. And his ultimate goal is to cast the entire world because he's like, oh, the fact that you guys continue, all the ninja keep fighting, and wars continue to wage war. This will never end. I'm going to put you all into an internal genjutsu where you guys will know peace. And it's like, that's not true peace. And that's not how you achieve true peace. So like, yeah, his goal to end war and have peace, that's a noble thing on paper, but how he goes about it and his idea of true peace is so misguided. Oh, yeah. It's so misguided and so wrong.
You guys hear the fan theory that Infinite Tsukuyomi never actually ended? The entire world that they live in now is basically like a manipulation of like his mind.
Whose mind? Like Naruto's?
Of Madara's mind. Like it's connected genjutsu. That's a fan theory. It's out there right now.
That's so stupid.
But imagine Boruto wakes up one day and he's like, wait a minute, everyone's under genjutsu. What do we do? That'd be a crazy way to take it.
That wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. I'd be so upset. That's a waste of my time.
I know. Technically, he wouldn't exist then, huh?
No.
Yeah. I can't even think of anything else to say about Madara, dude. You nailed that. You knocked that out the park.
He killed it.
From all you guys' picks so far, I can tell all of you are very successful young black men because your list goes up not by body count, but how manipulative and how much they plan. You guys are giving props to people that plan. So I'm like, yeah, that's definitely guys in a nutshell. You're like, yeah, we plan this out. I know y'all doing well. I'm like, because I'm just watching. You're like, oh, he murdered a whole planet. He's number 9. But this dude, he thought his plan out, so he's 4.
Oh, don't worry. Madara definitely had a body count. They just way too many to me. He definitely had a body count. But he was genius. His planning behind it. Yeah, it's more than just going around killing people, just like the feelings behind it and like the planning that goes into it and being able to manipulate people like emotionally, like, and sometimes, physically, like it just that adds into what makes a villain a villain. Like it gives you that much of a higher status on the villain totem pole.
Yeah. Plus, Madara killed some people like 2 and 3 times. Let's be honest. Like, how you gonna get killed by the same guy more than once? It's crazy. Yeah. The next one actually, he got a body count. That's literally the reason he's on the list. It's Mirim from Hunter x Hunter, the Chimera Ant King.
At number 4, people.
Number 4.
At number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally just the body count. He's a manipulative person too, but he's really just out there murking people left and right. There is no comparison to his strength in the world. There is not a single person that can stand against him. And the only reason he actually gets taken down is because he's playing chess with somebody he loves and he wants to stay there with her. Like it's the craziest thing. I don't get it. But
to attest to the deaths that you were talking about, it's not that he just killed them. He was actually eating people.
Yeah.
That's what
that'll get you there. That'll get you to a number 4 spot.
That'll get you up there.
That'll get you on my list.
Yeah, but not to slight his intelligence, because day by day, literally, he would get smarter and smarter from playing in all the different like chess and shogun games. I believe that's what they were called, shogi, and then just reading in general. He was just becoming educated the more by each day, on top of his unnatural strength.
Wow. Yeah, he's another guy that, like, if he didn't like you, he wasn't gonna play with you. He was just gonna hit you in the head and game's over. It was
instant kill.
Speaking of instant kill. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was a good segue.
All right, at number 3, we have Kira, aka Light from Death Note.
Yeah. Instant kill. It don't get more instant than writing your name down. You die.
F this dude. F Light Yagami with a passion. Yeah. Everything he stands for.
I think there's probably actually a running count of his body count. You can probably actually watch the show and count exactly how many bodies he's got. But he is, if you're talking about manipulative and planners, he's number 1. Not like, you know, hate-wise or whatever, but like he definitely planned and manipulated a lot of people in his entire run as Kira. And no, he deserves to be on the list. He's more evil than the demon that was evil. Like, he's more evil than Naraku, hands down. Like, oh man, I don't know what you got.
And it's because he was human. Like, yeah. I mean, if any of y'all watched the last episode where we did the ships, you guys know my feelings on Light. Y'all know how much I hate Light with a passion. But the thing about it is, what makes him as a villain is that he starts out trying to do nice, trying to like be a nice person. Like, he gets the Death Note, and when you write someone's name in the Death Note, if you don't write, you can write their name in their cause of death. But if you don't write their cause of death, they'll die by a heart attack within 30 seconds. But the thing is, the more Light uses the notebook, he finally gets a hands on things and figure out the mysterious ins and out of the workbook. But of course, there are law enforcement who think, yo, this guy's taking his stuff into his own hands. That's out the law. We got to stop this dude. Because, of course, you know, no person should have that power. Light is the perfect example of absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this guy he considered, like, when he started, the more he used the Death Note, the more of a god complex that he had. And he actually thought of himself as a god, which he later named himself Kira. And just the manipulation that he goes through. He had to set up even when he was captured, when they had him, he set it up in the fabrication where he ended up losing his memories and knowledge of the Death Note, joining the squad, looking for Kira, all these plans just to have the Death Note back in his possession again. And it was like, when that came to fruition, it was like, wow, this guy is really genius. And then but just the emotional trauma that he put his father and sister through to achieve his own goals. He didn't care about anything else. Like, everything was a means to an end, and it was a means to his end, and that was to make sure he was seen as a god, and he was a god on top of everything. And it was just wow. Like, he really had no emotions for anybody.
No. It's the craziest thing. He got gassed up by people on the internet, of all people, and it's like, he must be a god. He goes, maybe I am, and then that was his snowball moment. Like, come on, man.
And it really was nothing he did was everything he did was really for his ultimate goal. Nothing. He didn't care about a single person. Like, anybody who joined his side, what he didn't consider a friend. It was just a means to another tool for him to use to accomplish his ultimate goal. And he could see that he was brainwashing him. It was like, yo, I am a god. These are my servants, so they're going to do whatever I say. I can manipulate them easily.
And he could. Literally. Yeah. Like, speaking of people that don't care about people, we got number 2.
I love his segues.
It works.
Yes.
All right. At number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have Shu Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist.
Now, ladies and
Did I get it
gentlemen,
wrong?
if you have watched,
He good.
if you have watched Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, you know damn well why Shu Tucker is number 2 on our list.
Right.
All right, Shu Tucker. That's he's number 2 on our list because for his short time in Full Metal Alchemist, he's not even one of the main antagonists, but it's by his unspeakable act that puts him at number 2. All right, Shu Tucker was he was a state alchemist, but before that, he and his family were living dirt poor. They were struggling to find a means to an end. They were struggling to get by, and Shu Tucker's wife ends up leaving him. So shortly after Shu Tucker's wife leaves him, he ends up making this breakthrough in through alchemy, developing a chimera that's able to talk. And the state goes wild. He becomes a state alchemist, and the government gives him all this kinds of funding for him to do research and provide him with to continue his research with the chimera. Now years pass, and he hasn't been able to recreate that same experiment. And so the government, you know what, the government gives you money. It's not just for free. You got to pay that back somehow. So the government's coming knocking on his door, and because his yearly assessment's coming up to keep his license, his state alchemist license, it's got to be renewed. So the government's knocking on his door looking for research, for improvements, for anything. It's like, yo, what's good with this chimera? Like, you gave us one, we need more. And so he is struggling, blah, blah, blah. And so the government, he's getting all this intense pressure from the government. And so the Full Metal Alchemist, you know, brother Edwards and Alphonse, they come to him and they see he finally, like, on the day his stuff is due for the government to get his research, or they take away all of his stuff, he finally develops another chimera. And you know, that you think that's a cause to be excitement. However, when the brothers go to him and inspect the chimera, they realize the unspeakable act that he did. That chimera that Shu Tucker create was a fusion, a transmutation of his daughter and their family dog.
Yo.
He sacrificed his own daughter to do his invention. And he even says it himself, but he said his daughter's life. Say he didn't even care. He didn't think he did anything wrong. He felt like sacrificing his daughter's life for the sake of his alchemy to keep his license was worth it. And all you have left is the chimera hybrid of his daughter and the dog, not understanding what's going on, just confused by the betrayal and hurt. And this is ultimately one of the saddest scenes in, like, anime history to this day. If people try to make memes about it, it's still too soon. It's rough even talking about it. Like, just the fact, and I don't know if they specifically said it in the anime or if they just left it for us to interpret it. But the first chimera, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, the first chimera was his wife.
Yeah.
The very first chimera was his wife. So he didn't just sacrifice his daughter; he sacrificed his wife too.
Damn.
Yeah. So
and
the reason
people believe that she just left.
Yeah. So that's why he made it to number 2. He doesn't have a high body count, but, like, the emotional factor of him is so high. It's like, you just, like, I think he even says it doesn't matter, like, about her life. Like, he literally was just kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Like, she wouldn't have been able to eat if I couldn't stay with the state alchemy. So maybe just sacrifice her life so I can keep moving and doing my research. And it's like, your research wasn't really good research. Like, he's doing the one thing that is forbidden to do in alchemy, which is, like, perform alchemy on humans, human transmutation. And so he's just so cold-blooded, heartless, and he definitely deserves the number 2 spot on the list, because
yes,
it's just, he's not manipulative. He's just straightforward. He's cold. And he doesn't care. Like, he just has no thought about it. He goes, yeah, so I made another one, see? And then actually, we didn't even get to this part. His final transmutation is himself. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
So
yeah. No, I'm saying, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He finally transmutes. I don't even know what he crosses himself with, but he actually ended up transmuting himself to continue the science. Just because he's like, all right, well, I'm out of bodies. Guess I should use my own. And they say he disappears, but he ends up in like a camp with a bunch of failed transmutes.
He doesn't. He just simply doesn't get it.
No.
And he doesn't want to. Like everything he did was completely right in his mind.
It's because his mind wasn't right.
You sound sick.
Yeah, that's why he got the number 2 spot.
That's right.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but
you gotta have to watch Full Metal, man. That's a lot of the biggest.
Even knowing what happens, it still doesn't prepare you for it.
No, not at all. Not at all. A lot of the actually like most gruesome, I feel like, villains come from Full Metal. Like they're actually kind of really, really terrible people. Whoever wrote that, I don't know the name of the creator, but
make sure you watch Brotherhood though, not Full Metal Alchemist. Brotherhood's the same thing, but a lot of the filler stuff cut.
It's like Dragon Ball Kai. Yeah. We don't have to watch him power up for 30 episodes. Like it's just 2. I'm just saying, you know. But yeah, it's a fun adventure. That's a good one. Speaking of fun adventure. Yep, sorry.
What makes it more evil in your mind? Because the thing that gets me when someone's evil is like you do something super messed up to somebody else, but you wouldn't want the same thing happening to you. Because of what you just said, that dude, he did it to his wife, and he did it to his daughter and his dog, and at the very end, he did it to himself. All of it's evil. It's evil, but the only thing that I'm giving him a small pass on, I mean the smallest of passes, is the fact that he was so he was so single-mindedly focused and believing that what he was doing was at least the right thing in his mind, that he would do it to himself. Does that make it a little bit better, or is it still like as horrible as you ever thought it was going to be?
He just didn't care. Like he knew it was wrong. He just simply didn't care. Like he knew it was wrong, but if it's for the sake of his research, he's gonna do it. Because like the law was forbidden. Like transmutation on humans was forbidden. Like doing that with, well, first also trying to bring someone back to life, that was forbidden. Like there are certain rules to alchemy where you're not supposed to do. That was definitely one of them.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. His alchemy title was a sowing life alchemist. So people thought he was creating life, and so that's why they kept funding him and kept getting behind him. Like, yo, this guy can make things. Like he makes
making that exactly. He makes a chimera that talks, living things. And then you find out what he actually did, and it was like, yo.
Yeah, the show also goes through like you have like this entire bonding moment with this little girl who's like 3, and like she's like she talks funny because she's 3 and all this other stuff, and so you kind of get attached to the little girl, and then you realize like the little thing that's talking to you, it's like my hair hurts. It's like it's the chimera and it's her, and you're like oh wow.
Yeah,
and then she gets murdered.
Game of Thrones stuff is what you're saying.
Then she gets completely murdered. She gets murdered in probably the most gruesome way ever. They blur it out like he's black. She's charred on a wall. Like it's yeah. It's gruesome.
I told you this is why he's number 2. Like no doubt about it. Like immovable. He's one of the worst. The worst, man.
Yeah. He didn't kill her, but speaking of the worst.
The worst. Phil Tucker is despicable, but even after all that, there is one person who, from my knowledge, like I said, let's just say this right now. If you guys feel like we've missed some people, you can leave them in the comments. We do have honorable mentions coming up. But number 1 anime villain all time for our list is Griffiths from Berserk. And we're talking about the original 1997 Berserk, not the 2016 continuation. Yeah. You might have to watch that later, but Griffith from Berserk, easily hands down the number 1 top 10 anime villain.
And you don't need to explain it to me because I've never seen Berserk. So Get me.
So, just a little background, because I know Dash will really dive into this. Griffith has that, like, the villain where he's like a good guy or looks to be like a good guy. So you trust him and you have faith in him and you believe in him. And then it's kind of like Eisen, where he seemed good at first, but then he hit you with that twist.
Or like Wrath,
and then you
full Metal.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. You've seen it?
I know. I just said yeah because that's the best analogy you got.
All right, my bad. All right.
but to me, he follows those lines, and then that's what makes me mad for villains, where they seem good at first and then they swap over, and then they don't really swap. They were always evil. They just tricked me, so that gets me. But Dash, you can really dive into this.
You don't like
yes. So Griffiths, oh my goodness, I mean, once you look into it or watch it, like you see, there's been memes going around all over the internet talking about how Griffith did nothing wrong, which Griffith did plenty wrong. But so what happened was Griffith was an expert swordsman and a masterful tactician. He was a leader of the Band of the Hawk, or some people call it, depending on which translation you have, it's they're called the Band of the Falcons. And what happened was so the two main characters of Berserk are Griffith and Guts. And so Griffith finds Guts and they have a one-on-one duel and Griffith wins. So he recruits Guts into their group. And so those guys just go around like doing battle for the king and just winning battle region, whereas like Griffith was known as let me see my notes, because he was so Griffith became like, he was I think it was called like the White Hawk or the White Falcon, because he was just undefeated in battle. No one can beat him. And he was like, the way he was described and drawn, like he was described as an incredibly handsome man. So it's just like people were like and he was a very charismatic. So like while he was like doing his work, like a lot of people would join to him and flock to him. So he was able to bring up this band of people who were and he was adored by everybody, like the peasants, his men, royals, everybody just sat there and loved Griffith because of his charisma. And then come to find out, well, let me not get into that. So not just yet. So 3 years after them doing all their work, Guts decides that he wants to leave the band, do his own thing. And, Griffith is just like shaking over, because Griffith is so used to people just fawning over him, like, and just being around him and being devoted to him. Like he takes Guts's decision to leave as a betrayal. And so they fight and Guts wins. So he hands Griffith his first loss. And so Griffith just can't seem to comprehend this because he's never lost before. And so for some reason, we're not being able to comprehend this and like take it. Griffith goes and sneaks into the king's castle and rapes the king's daughter. Like she was in love with him. She was obsessed with Griffith, but like he still went in and raped her, and so the king the king finds out. And then he has the entire army capture Griffith. And so all of the men just turn on Griffith. All of the army turn on Griffith. And not only does he capture Griffith, but he imprisons Griffith and tortures him for a full year and like actually burns his entire body. So Griffith is getting tortured for a year. Guts is already gone and doing his own thing. But when Guts hears about the torture Griffith is enduring, he goes and gets the band together to try and rescue Griffith anyway, just because like for some reason, even after like the act, like Griffith still had that charisma that still kept people going for him. Now, all this you find out, like Griffith has this like red orb that never gets to really talked about. I forgot what it's actually called. There's an actual term for that red orb that he has. And you come to find out that everything that's set into motion for Griffith was actually a being set up by the God hands, and the God hand is a group of these extra dimensional beings who've been ruling the world from behind the scenes, like in the set of like some great ultimate evil, but they've been behind the scenes the whole time. And they tell Griffith like, yo, in order to become they've been grooming Griffin. Like they're like, yo, Griffin, you've been the chosen one since birth. You've been one of us. You're a disciple. And in order for Griffith to ascend to be one of them, like he had to offer up his own blood to the orb in order to do it. And so the final scene, this is ridiculous because like the final episode, the final two episodes of Berserk, Guts and their other girl Casca, who she was a girl. Casca had a romantic feelings for both Griffith and Guts. So they get the band out together. They're going to go save Griffith, and so they get to Griffith, and then the God Hands are like, "Yo, you have a decision that you can ascend to become one of us, the head of the God's Hand, but you got to sacrifice all of your men." And Griffith does it without question. He sacrifices his entire men to be eaten by demons. And the thing is, it's gruesome. It all gets showed without a second thought because he wants to ascend to a demon. And so once he ascends to the God Hand, that just wasn't enough because he still feels betrayed. Like he blames Guts for everything that happened because Guts handed him his only loss and everything just went downhill from there. So when he does, the first thing he does when he becomes that demon, he takes Casca and rapes her and forces Guts to watch. He forced it. Oh, and Casca was pregnant with Guts' baby at the time. So because of that rape, it defiled and tainted the baby as well. And so he was going to kill them both, but Guts and Casca get saved by the knight. I forgot what the knight was called, but they get saved by the knight, but everybody else dies. And that's how Berserk ended. Like that's how the Berserk anime ended. Like people, like I know, like it's supposed to. I didn't read the manga. Like apparently, like I've read that the manga continued it, and then there was the continuation that came out in 2016. But back then in the 90s, and for the anime, like I wasn't reading manga like that in the 90s. I wasn't reading manga at all in '97. But that's how the anime ended back then. Like he becomes a demon, rapes Casca, forces Guts to watch the rape, defiles the baby, and she ends up giving birth to this creature. Like it's not even like human anymore, it's just a vile creature, and it's like, wow, this is the most disgusting thing ever. And it ends, and that's it. The bad guy won. I'm just like, yo, this is the most epic villain ever. So for me, that's why Griffith becomes number one.
Well, yeah, I think I figured out how to become number one on the list. Mother effing rapists. Whoa. That's how you get number one. We found it, guys.
That is wild.
Oh, look, I found how many nicknames this guy had. He's Griffith, aka Femto, aka the Hawk.
Yeah. So Femto, I'll put it in. So Femto is his demon's name. Yeah. So when he becomes the demon, that's when he turns into Femto.
Okay. Yeah. AKA Hawk of Light, AKA Hawk of Darkness, AKA the Fifth Angel, AKA King of Longing, AKA the Absolute, AKA the White Falcon, AKA Falcon of Light, AKA Falcon of Darkness, AKA the Fifth Blessed King. This dude got too many names.
Yeah. So all those Falcon names came from like when he was on the side of good, because he was leader of the band of Falcon. Oh, so he was undefeated. So that's why he was like the White Falcon, the Falcon of Light. And then he went dark. He went real dark.
Dark hard.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like Berserk was a real dark anime, especially for the 90s. Like, wow. Like you see all this stuff now, like all this shonen stuff now, and it's just like you can see some stuff like a lot of it's, some of it's comical, some of it's kind of action and drama, but it doesn't really touch get as dark as Berserk did.
Yeah, technically, I kind of miss dark anime. Sorry, I'm talking over you, but like everybody is kind of like in Naruto, bad guys become good guys. Just like in Fairy Tail, bad guys become good guys. Like, there's no really bad person in Fairy Tail. Like, unless, they got murked by accident. Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
Dash, tell me this. All right, so from what I got from your story, right, tell me if it falls under the kind of the theme of what you guys have been doing with how you thought something, how somebody's super manipulative and thought something out. Because what you said, he was on the side of light when he got those Falcon names, but he was always in tune with those demons that were behind the scenes that were running everything because he had that orb,
actually,
right?
That's the thing. He wasn't. He didn't even realize it. That was their plan from the beginning. He didn't even realize it though.
Okay.
Until the end. It was just when he was given the option to become a demon, he was just like, yeah, no problem, without hesitation.
Damn. That's
so he didn't really know
man.
they were sort of pulling the string. That's why, like, so the God hand, those four, that's why he's known as the fifth. So he became that fifth. When he becomes Finto, he becomes that fifth.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Dang.
Looks like I might have to watch Berserk.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really old school. Like, the animation is so old.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's not a big deal. You still check it out.
Yeah, I'll dive in.
Chris has top 10 from, who's it from?
From ranker.com. So you guys had yours, and I like how you guys, again, one of the reasons why I commented on basically you guys having the more manipulative, like planned out makes them the bad guy compared to body count. Because if you go to ranker.com, they have so many people on the internet rank their top 10 most evil anime villains. And so I'll go just like we did 10-1, we'll go 10-1 with them, right? So basically based off of ranker.com, we have Bill Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. None of y'all really watch JoJo like that, so you can't really comment on that one, right?
No.
All right, so the next one, number 9, Sosuke from Bleach.
Sasuke
Eisen.
Word.
Which we discussed on ours.
Yeah. All right. He made it. He made the list.
He made the list. And then Naruto, I said it right the first time back in behind the scenes. Yes, get on the Patreon, you hear me actually say these names correctly. But Orochimaru.
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 There you go. Orochimaru, he's bad. He does a lot of things. I think he's does twisted. A lot in the name of science. He does a lot in the name of revenge too. He also gets sealed. Like, see, he didn't actually kill the third Hokage. Third Hokage kind of killed himself to seal him up. Like, so that wasn't really a body on him. But he does have. He's if I had to put 11, he might make it number 11. Nah. All right.
Agree.
No, he's good for.
And he also controlled people. He'd bite them and give them his mark, and then they could gain greater power. So they followed him.
He definitely
became his subordinates. Yeah.
All right. Number 7 is Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Cell. I mean, he's definitely a serious villain. I mean, he eats people. He absorbs them, not eats them. He absorbs the people. But he really needed Android what's?
Yeah, he needed 17 and 18 to get to 18, where he was. I can't. Yeah. I don't really have I like Cell in terms of like DBZ style terms. So, but in terms of anime villains, there are definitely people bigger than Cell.
Yeah,
I mean, dude got his ass whooped by Gohan.
I know.
Yeah.
See, in terms of Cell though, he was kind of hard to kill. You had to kill every last cell of him. That's why.
That's true. Yeah. Otherwise, he'd be back.
Yeah. So he was a kind of sinister in that sense. But other than that, he was just a mad android. Let's be honest. He's a mad lab experiment. He's good. He's all right.
Hey, technically with Cell, you said he eats people. He technically does eat people. He just eats people through osmosis. He don't have to use his mouth.
Yeah, he does the absorption. But the thing about it is Cell's also the fact that Cell's greatest strength being combined of all these fighters is also his greatest weakness, because the same arrogance led to his downfall. Mm-hmm. Because he's just sitting there letting people get powered up. The same thing which Vegeta did to get him to the perfect form to begin with. So it's just your arrogance leads to your own downfall. So it's just
Yeah, I think Majin Vegeta would be a better rank than with them. I think he's a little just because he was badass.
Don't even get me started on Vegeta.
right, we'll move on to the next one so you don't have to get started. Number 6, King Bradley from Full Metal Alchemist.
Beast.
That's Wrath. That's Wrath right there. He was good.
Like,
I like him.
Don't worry, we definitely contemplated adding King Bradley to the list, but with Show Tucker there.
Yeah,
so
we didn't want to double
beast.
up.
So with Bradley being the beast like he is, like Bradley has the so Bradley with the what's it called? With Full Metal Alchemist, like he's one of the 7 deadly sins. Each of them has an ultimate power. Bradley has the all-seeing eye, so he can see every single detail. In terms of like a negotiation or even in battle, he can see it even before you do it, which allows him to be just a beast in fighting skills. But like he was the only like human that was like raised by father, and he was injected and imbued with the power of the Philosopher's Stone. So like he was just a monster, and like you'll see like if you go YouTube any of his fights, you'll see how much of a beast he is. But he was like the ruler of Mestria. Like he was like the face of what Father was playing was for.
Father is the ultimate villain in Full Metal. If you guys don't know who that is.
No doubt. All right, so number 5. Again, I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm not even gonna say the whole name. It's just gonna say Light from Death Note. You guys had him, right?
Yeah, we had him.
And then. And again, if you go like the only thing that's the ones that you do have, the only difference is basically just the position. I think it's all based off of body count or ranker.com. The next one is Hunter x Hunter. It's Hisoka.
Yeah. Hisoka, like we were saying earlier, man, he's indiscriminate. He will kill or attack anybody. He just wants to fight the strongest. So he's not necessarily evil, but he's definitely a good fighter, and he has a sort of a sinister motive, just because I guess he wants to gauge his strength. But he's a good one for the list, but he's also not like a evil person.
He's basically Kendrick. Kendrick's from our old school and grew up.
In a sense, he lost his camera.
I was laughing too hard.
Yeah, what's funny is if Kendrick was ever to watch this, he think that was funny as hell too. Kendrick was like, so did you know Kendrick?
Nah.
So basically, Kendrick's was like strongest, fastest kid in school for like every year that he was in high school, right? And basically, if you were cool with him, if you were on his cool side, you were cool for that for as long as you were on his cool side. But if you wanted to fight you right then and there, he was gonna fight you right then and there. It didn't matter who you were, didn't matter how cool you guys were, how long you guys went back. Like play him on the basketball court, you foul him the wrong way, you might get put face. You never know. Like Kendrick was that dude, and then the next day he chill with you and act like nothing happened. Like
it's like Yusuke Urameshi, guys. Like, he's the big dude in high school.
All right. So number 3, Frieza. Y'all already obviously went over that. I think it's kind of interesting that 3. Like again, that's why I'm saying body count, because number 3 is Frieza on this one, and Frieza was number 9 on you guys' list.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm still thinking he's bad. Like, I get the whole thing about fusing your kid together and all that, and you just being horrible. But you sitting there blowing up planets and enslaving folks. Like, you look at what happens with slavery. If you enslaving folks, you're doing some horrible things to them in the first place because they're slaves. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm worried about you, so I'm just gonna blow up your whole planet. Like, that's trying to do genocide on top of it. So I get that one too. Number 2, Naruto, Madara, and you guys had Madara. And then number 1 is Pain, Naruto.
Pain's a good get. Pain. See, the problem with Naruto's villains is that they all see how to solve the problem for the world differently. They all think that they're all doing good, but they're not. But Pain is kind of a really good one because, like, at some point, he's literally pain. Like, you know what? This was inflicted on me, and I'm going to inflict it back on everybody else. So he was a really, really, really hard person to kill. I don't necessarily think he didn't get killed. Nagato didn't get killed, but he had to be talked off the ledge. Like, yo, please resurrect everybody. I will solve this problem for you. Don't worry about it.
And the thing is, like,
yeah.
No, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead. I was just gonna say that Pain was the name that we all know him by, but it was actually Nagato. That was the dude controlling Pain, because Pain was technically dead.
Yeah, Pain was technically 7 people, right? He was 7 different people that he resurrected and controlled with like little metal rods inside their bodies, so that he can like control their movements and stuff like that. But he resurrected a couple friends and other really strong shinobi in order to enact his evil deeds.
But it's hard to like. I feel like that list for ranker is like made by a bunch of dudes who just watch shonen, like current stuff. So like a lot of that list was just current, like second of the 2000 decades people. Besides like the obvious DBZ stuff, but like Pain is hard for me. Like I guess you can put him on the villain list, but like when you hear his backstory with Nagato, like it's hard for me to like see him as a villain. Like Pain, because like he turns it around, and like what he was doing, like for his Akatsuki, like I don't even think he was even about. Again, he was manipulated by Madara from the beginning. Like, well, Madara. You know, like Madara was the head about it, but Madara used Obito to go use them. Like he was being used and manipulated to make the ends meet. Like when Akatsuki when he first started Akatsuki, they actually had a real goal and mission, and then all of a sudden you get people like Obito and then Danzo of the Hidden Leaf, and then the Hanzo the Salamander. All these dudes just constantly, all the wars had a toll on their village. Watching his parents die in the mid by the Leaf Shinobi, and just everything that inflicted onto them is like that forced him to be that kind of a person. And it's like Naruto, when he had his like talk with Naruto towards the end, it's just like, yo, it's like, oh, we have a different way of peace, and he's just like, you know what, Naruto, he's like, your way is right. I shall bestow this upon you. Let me revise, but it's like Naruto was able to turn him around. So yeah, granted, all the things he did was bad. Like his way of going about it was straight up rough and evil. But it's hard for me to see him as like an actual ultimate villain in the grand scheme of things, just because of knowing that he was being manipulated the entire time.
No, don't get it twisted. He blew up the Leaf Village. He left that mother as a crater. Like,
Leaf Village trash. You saw what he did with Naruto the whole entire time when he was a kid. Like everybody acts like the Leaf is some great village. Like yes, it has some wonderful shinobi, but like, as a whole, as a village, Leaf got some terrible people. The rules are mad dumb.
You right. I know. Don't tell that kid about his daddy. Like, why? His daddy used to be president.
Can't tell him about his dad. Can't tell him about his mom. He's just gonna sit there and abuse emotionally abuse this kid.
I know. What 8-year-old eats ramen
all the way up until the time he saves the village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he became the hero. Oh wow, he resurrected us all from death.
Yeah, that's when he became the hero.
I guess he's all right. Yeah, he's cool. He brought us all back to life.
Ridiculous. Like that. I don't I don't feel no qualms about the Leaf like that.
Yo, that. All right.
Hit it with the honorable, son. What you got?
All right.
I mean, we basically listed a lot of them. The ones down ranker that didn't make our list are kind of the honorable. What else we got? Oh, there's of course, we can't go an episode without mentioning Sailor Moon, so let's throw Queen Beryl up there.
Yeah.
Honorable mention.
Oh, Queen Beryl. Are we gonna dive in, or are we just gonna?
We can just list them.
I don't got much to say about Queen Beryl. Let's be honest. Some we can talk about.
All right. So we got Queen Beryl from Sailor Moon, Laughing Coffin, Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Some other honorable mentions. All for One, and Stain from My Hero Academy. Those guys were good.
Let's stop on them real quick. We should talk about them.
All right.
So All For One, I feel like hasn't reached his full potential yet. He's in the background manipulating right now in MHA, but he isn't really like a forefront bad guy. If you were gonna put somebody else from My Hero on there, it'd probably be what's to do with the touch? I don't even know his name. Shigaraki. He would probably make the list if I had to choose another My Hero. But right now, like
I wanted to put it on the list, but I can't. And Ty knows why. We spoilers.
My
Hero Academia is still going. Jamil's not cut up, so
he's not.
I intentionally left him off the list. For spoilers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Spoiler. So if anybody's wondering why he's not on the list, now you know.
Stain. Stain doesn't really deserve to be on the list, but he kind of does. He's a villain, but he has a code. I like Stain as a person because even like he's up here butchering heroes, but like he's even like, yo, this dude right here, Midoriya, he's the real deal. And he even gets like a bunch of the villains that follow him to be like, nah, man, don't mess with him. He's got that much pull. That's why I can't really see him as a villain, but he's a villain. But, you know.
And let's not forget, Stain's whole point was he was tired of the society that was built where heroes were doing stuff for hire and for money. He didn't think that's what heroes should embody. They should be heroes for the sake of actually being a hero and for the sake of helping people, which is why he was fine with All Might. Because he saw at that point, he said All Might was the one true hero who was doing things for the sake of being a hero until he meets Deku, and he's like, yo, this guy's kind of like All Might. He's like, he's not doing this for the fame or for money or for any type of glory. Like, he's trying to help. But Sting's definitely a badass. So like people identify with kind of Sting's ideology. Like, he's tired of the society where people are honoring heroes and heroes are just doing it for the glory for themselves and for the sake of fame and money.
Yeah. He even gives a dude with the motor legs an option, like, yo, if you're not in it for revenge, you save this dude right now, or I'm gonna kill you. It's like, don't cut. If you come for me, then I will kill you. But he's like, nah, man, I'm coming for you because he had taken on his brother like the previous week. So it's like, nah, you're not a true hero. Sorry, it's not about that.
Not to mention his quirk is badass.
Oh,
he can paralyze you depending on your blood type.
It's like, how do you figure that out? Like, let's just pause on that real quick. Are you just going through school one day with a pen and going, got you. Come on. You don't just figure that out.
That's just a testament to how many bodies he must have hurt. He's like, yo.
She hurt a lot of bodies.
Yeah, body counts.
Yeah.
All right.
So continuing, we have King Piccolo from Dragon Ball.
Classic.
It is a classic.
Special beam cannon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Junior though. King Piccolo didn't even have that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right.
That's so disappointing. Right.
King Piccolo just went around somewhere in his mentions to kill people, to rule the world.
That's right. My bad.
Last that I have for honorable mentions is as Death from Akemi Got Killed.
Talk about it. I don't know anything about.
Okay.
Don't know anything about.
Right. So the reason why I have her as an honorable mention is because her power was controlling ice, which is pretty sick. So like she can control it from her hands, from her legs, from her chest, just anywhere on her body she can control it. So she can propel ice. If there's ice just hanging around, she can control that too. She can just generate it, all that. But what makes her evil is that she's working for the king, who's a kid who's been manipulated by everyone else to do evil deeds. And she's just going around killing anyone that she thinks could change the king to be a good king or anything of that nature. So she's just murking all these groups. There's this group called the Night Raid that she's just continually trying to kill every member. When they execute people, she's the first one there. She's like super happy to be at the it's like medieval times where they had the people at the thing and they actually like really murder them with a stake that comes down and just slices their head off.
Oh,
so she's
guillotine.
like always
guillotine
thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So she's always there. She's eager for it. She'll even be the first to do it. But just overall, her power is just unbelievably strong. She's captain, and I don't know. I like female characters that are strong, regardless of evil or good. So that's kind of why
Ty just earned a whole fan base with that statement. A whole fan base with that statement.
He like a strong, independent female character. I feel you, Ty.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think they're cool. It
is a nice perspective.
Right. But one of my favorite moves that she had was she would there'd be like a whole army coming at her, and then instead of just fighting them all one by one, she just like lift up and like freeze everyone in a huge iceberg, and then she'd be like this. Yep. She'd be like that, and the iceberg would just burst, and they're all gone, like, evaporated, dead. See ya. So, I'm not trying to be like I like the villain, but that was a sick move. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's okay to like villains, man. They're not real.
Just don't copy the ideology.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Facts.
Just don't become an ice person, and don't do that, and then you're good. You'll be all right.
All right.
Be more like Gray.
You'll be more like Gray. Okay.
Yeah. Ice make Lance.
Great. Great some fairy tale for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Also, to add to the honorable mention list, I'd be heartbroken if I forgot to add Toguro from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Can't forget about that guy. Toguro was a mother effing beast. Toguro, like in the same lines of Shishi's, Toguro didn't really start off as a bad guy. He was actually protecting humans from demons, and one day he failed to. He was running a dojo, and there was a demon that came and killed all of the people in the dojo. He failed to protect them, and so that just broke Toguro. And he went, and for some reason, in his own twisted way, he became the demon that killed his dojo, his clansmen, as a way of like trying to atone for a mistake. But also Toguro was afraid of growing old and dying. So like that also led to it as well. It's like, so he's like for feeding off of demons to remain immortal and live as long as he could. And it was just sickening. But also, honorable mention, Lord Shishio, Rurouni Kenshin.
Ooh.
True. That's a good one.
With advantages?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was an expert swordman who ended up, due to his severe injuries, because he was burned, he could only fight for 15 minutes. But aside from Kenshin, 15 minutes was more than enough time to kill his opponents. This guy was a straight up beast.
Thanks. Any other honorable mentions, guys?
I
got go ahead. Hit it.
I bet. Appreciate you. I got Isaac and the first /bishop from Castlevania.
Oh no.
You guys don't watch Castlevania?
Castlevania is one I gotta get into. I haven't watched it yet.
Yo, the first season is only five episodes long, I think.
I heard it was
5 or 6. It's amazing. The second season I don't like the second season as much. And then the third season, the way they set everything up for the climax, basically, like the whole season, everything they talk about, every small little detail that you're paying attention to, like when you watch it the second time through, you're like, oh snap, I didn't know that alluded to that. Oh snap, I didn't know that this alluded to that. And then they use like real world, like we guys talked about Full Metal Alchemist and everything like that, and like things you're not supposed to do with alchemy. They use like real world, like, oh, this sign means XYZ, this sign means XYZ, and then it sets up for later. Like by the time they actually reached the climax in the third season, kind of like the first season, but the third season, by the time they reach the climax, you're like, wow, like I didn't expect all that to happen. Every single important battle, you even if you start to think that it's a little bit dry, which it's not, every single important battle, every single thing that they set up in the beginning all comes to light. And then you're like, oh, damn, like, wow, they put some thought brought into this. And the reason why Isaac is ill is when you watch it, basically he used to be a slave. Then he ended up becoming I believe it's called a forge master, where he can bring people back to life. And he works for Dracula. And then when Dracula gets killed, basically he's like, all right, I'm going to finish Dracula's job. I'm going to destroy the whole world. And throughout he's going to kill every single human. He has like night creatures. He has demons that are all on his side. And basically like the reason why he wouldn't make the list, because he does have mad bodies on him. And he hates humans. Like he hates humans. He wants to, even though he's a human, he wants to be with the vampires and kill every single human. But the reason why he's on the list is because he keeps giving humans a chance. Basically, the reason why he hates humans is because every time he gives them a chance, once he finds one nice person, once he finds one person he can stand and he doesn't want to actually do damage to anybody, there'll be somebody else that like doesn't understand him, and all of a sudden like they won't give him the benefit of the doubt. Dude will be like, I'm trying to leave peacefully, and like then they won't let him. They want to fight, and he's like, all right, well, you know, I just got to kill the whole village just because of you. Basically, you the one that made me kill the whole village. And then the first bishop, or he's either a priest or a bishop, but in the first season of Castlevania, I don't want to have too many spoilers, but this one made my heart bump because everybody has different religious beliefs, but I know when I was growing up and everything, my family, they're preachers. And basically like one of the biggest things is like the church is the house of God. But like when you listen to certain people talk, especially certain Christians that like don't believe that like everybody that's in God's house is doing God's work. The first preacher basically killed Dracula's wife, and this is why the whole thing goes through. He calls her a witch and everything like that, and he has his own motivation. He's so evil. Like he knows he's doing wrong. He knows he killed an innocent woman, all this other stuff. He's so evil that at the end of the day, in the last episode, basically like demon walks into the church and the preacher's like, you can't be here. And he's like, what do you mean I can't be here? He was like, the guy was like, yo, this is God's house. And he was like, nah, God left. The demon's like talking to him. It's like, nah, God left this house a long time ago. God spits on you. Like he's turned his back. And he was like, but you brought us here. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. We love you. And I was like, yo, like the way he comes up to him, like straight up talking to this preacher in God's house. And he was like, nah, it's not everybody else that's evil. No, it's you. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to be here. You gave us life. And the way he's talking to him is like, it like hits you like, damn. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. I'll give you that one.
You got to get into Castlevania, man.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man. It's on Netflix, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
So. The one I'm throwing out there, I have three. Zarif. I mean, from the fairy tale, he's literally he has the courage of contradiction. The happier he is, the more things that die around him. So like he'll walk into a town. Yeah. So he can't be around people. So like the more he cares about other people, the more things just die. So he'll walk into a town and like he'll be good as long as he stays like copacetic. But like as soon as something makes him happy, everyone in the town dies. And like he doesn't really he's supposed to be the ultimate bad guy in fairy tale. But you find this out like he's actually cursed. He doesn't just make people die. It's just like people die around him because he got this curse. I actually don't know. They actually didn't go into how he got the curse. I mean, he got the curse, but like they actually didn't explain like who cursed him.
He got the curse because it had something to do with him trying to bring back Natsu, his little brother.
Yeah, it got from that, but like they actually like I kind of feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I wish they had told us like there was a being that gave him this curse and like we had to take out this being in order for him not to be like this. Anyway, sorry, I can't write a plot. He was an interesting villain for me just because like he didn't want to be bad, but like he had to be or else everyone dies.
True.
Yeah. The other one's from Dr. Stone, Tsukasa. Anyone who doesn't know Dr. Stone, it's about this dude who so the entire world gets frozen in stone for 1,000 years, and people that wake up first are like young kids that were all in high school. And this dude who's Dr. Stone, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he gets resurrected first. Well, he thinks it's first. And he's in this like whole new world. He finds like he's still in his high school, but like everything's already been shifted around, just statues and stuff like that that are of people. So he kind of like saves the people statues and like develops like a cure to like bring them back. But the first dude he brings back to life is this dude Tsukasa, who is like a really strong person. He's like, well, I need help. Like I need some manual labor. So he brings this guy back to life. And this guy is like, okay, so like we get to build the world on our image now, right? We can do whatever we want. And so this guy's like, well, you know, we should bring back everybody, but not the adults, because the adults ruin the first world, and we don't want them to ruin the next world. So like they're gonna bring all their rules and everything to us. So instead of like resurrecting them, he goes around breaking their statues. When you break their statue, they instantly die. Obviously, yeah. So I think he was a good honorable just because of his kind of cold-bloodedness. He makes it like an army of kids, whereas you know the Dr. Stone actually finds like an army of his own of like people and like helps them. But it's all about science and stuff like that. It's a cool thing. My last one is actually from Black Clover. I don't know if any of you guys watch Black Clover. Zagrid, he's the demon in Black Clover, the first demon. he's super hard to kill. Like everyone in Black Clover has magic except for this one guy. His name is Asta. Got it right. Asta has the power of anti-magic. So he has a book, a grimoire of anti-magic swords, and he's the only person in the world who has them. Basically, you find out that he's cursed by a demon. One of the demons, it's not his demon, in the world is this dude, Zagrid. And he has the power of word magic. So anything he speaks becomes reality. And he's actually really, really hard to kill because he just speaks and he's just like murdering people. So he was I thought a good addition. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for our honorable mentions. Chris, send us home.
All right, let's go home. Listen, I hope you all are staying safe out there. I'm glad you guys keep tuning in. Again, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Till next time, we shall see you. It's the Anime Brothers. Annie out.